Has it always been your dream to work in Australia? Well, guys, I've got good news for you because today I want to talk about the Skills in Demand visa, which is a subclass 482. And guys, listen, sit tight, and obviously subscribe, like, and share, because this could be a ticket to Australia. Why Australia? I've got a number of reasons that I want to share with you. Why subclass 482? Why the skills in demand visa? And why Australia? Do stay tuned in this video because I'm going to be unpacking this visa in detail. The application process itself. Obviously, with this visa, guys, this is something that I found out recently through speaking to friends and family who have actually used the pathway, and also through my own research. I found out that there are other subclasses within this one visa rule. So we're going to be unpacking all of this in this video. Obviously, you're already thinking, but obviously, why has the Australian government obviously come up with this visa in question? Obviously, it's a fact. There are labor shortages in the Australian labor market, and obviously that's why it's in the public domain. Agencies, immigration lawyers and stuff are actually advertising to say we help with this, or we are recruiting massively. I've seen flyers. I'm going to be sharing with you also some of the workshops that are actually being held in this country, the UK, which is where I live, which are recruitment events for visas like this one. So do stay tuned, guys. Obviously, this visa, one of the reasons why I'm so excited about it is that the fact that the government actually is encouraging foreign professionals or foreign skilled professionals to actually relocate using this pathway for a number of reasons, obviously. But the biggest one is they need people to come and work, and there are jobs in Australia. Obviously, the other thing is, because I do talk about the relocation journey, I do talk about life in the diaspora, a lot of people have been asking me to say, Flo, I want to relocate, but I want to relocate with my children. And obviously, we all know coming to the UK is getting tougher and tougher by day. People used to come on a care visa, which is the same visa that I came with, but since last spring, April 2024, workers coming to the UK on a care visa are not allowed to bring dependents, and so does students. So obviously that has actually put off a lot of people. But guys, as you know, I love to give relocation a chance. I always encourage people to say, try relocation. And guys, this visa, this skills in demand visa, subclass 482, allows for people to actually relocate with their dependents. So you can actually relocate with your spouse and your children. That's why I actually encourage people to listen and give this one a go. Obviously, this visa can lead to actually allows you to transition into PR routes. We're going to go into detail when we digress this visa in detail. So do stay tuned, guys. Guys, a very big welcome to my YouTube channel. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Florence, and on this platform we do talk about life in the diaspora, life abroad. I love to talk about opportunities anywhere else. And guys, disclaimer, I'm not an immigration lawyer, or neither am I representing any organization whatsoever, but I'm just researching what I know based on what I'm privileged through sharing with friends and family that are actually using the same pathway, or who have actually relocated using the same pathway. So guys, just stay tuned as we go right into it. So obviously, some of the things that we're going to be discussing in this video are the direct definition of what this visa is about and what it entails. Obviously, some of the things that we're going to be talking about in this video is how to apply for this visa in particular. Obviously, some of you are already asking who fits this criteria. We are also going to be discussing some of the industry or some of the jobs that actually fit in this visa, subclass 482 visa. Also, we are going to be sharing with you some of the tips that you can actually employ to increase your chances of success when you apply for this visa, when you pursue this route in particular. Guys, we're in business, we're in serious business, and we want to see people relocating to Australia to go and enjoy the nice weather, because I'm always jealous when I talk to my friends and family who live in Australia, because they've got all the good things going on for them, from weather to opportunities to big nice houses, when we compare them to what we have in the UK. But I'm not going to be I'm grateful today because I want to share with you a very, very good opportunity. So let's get into it. So guys, this skills in demand visa, or subclass 482, also known as the temporary skills shortage visa, is a visa that's been put in place. It's been in place for a while now. It's been designed just to attract foreign labor, to fill in the gaps in the labor market in Australia. So it covers quite a lot of skills or a lot of professions, which I will share later on in the video. So do stay tuned if you want to know whether or not you actually fit this visa criteria. So guys, with this visa, it has got three very clear, or three different pathways to it, or different streams to it, as they love to call it. So I'll speak about the first one, which is the short-term stream. This short-term stream covers from a duration of 2 to 4 years in Australia. And guys, this does not lead to permanent residence at all, but you can actually renew it just once. So you are with an employer and you can actually renew that visa just once. But guys, this does not mean that after 4 years you come back home, because there are other means and ways around it to lead to PR. So I'll leave that for you to research, and for you obviously to engage immigration lawyers. That's what they are there for. Because I mean, when I look at it, I've got friends and family who've been in Australia for a very long time and they haven't actually come back. So you only wonder, I mean, obviously some of them do share with me how they do it or how they did it, but obviously engage a professional, engage an immigration lawyer or an immigration agent that will help you with your way around it. So obviously, with this visa, definitely, just like I would liken it to more or less like what we have here in the UK, where an Australia registered company has to issue you have to be registered for them to be able to sponsor you. So they do actually issue you with more or less like a certificate of sponsorship. That is what we have here in the UK. So it's not like just an employer from nowhere can actually employ you. They have to be a registered sponsor for them to be able to sponsor you to come to Australia. So that's about it with the first stream, which is the short-term stream. The second stream is the mid-term stream, mid to long-term stream actually. So this covers the duration of up to 4 years. And guys, it also does not have a direct route to PR, this one. But also, guys, this covered the subclass 186, subclass 187. Obviously, all these things you will need then to go on, dig deeper and do research. But these are streams that actually open, streams that can actually lead you to relocating to Australia. And obviously, you relocate with your family, you're allowed to work. One of the things that I love about this visa, the subclass 482, is the fact that it's a multi-entry visa. So it allows you to get in and out of Australia as many times as possible. Guys, I've just thought about something, why I decided to do this Australian series. Obviously, I've got a lot of friends and family who relocated anywhere else, who relocated everywhere else. People are in Dubai, people are in South Africa, people are here in the UK. And guys, lately I've seen quite a number of people actually relocating from the UK to Australia and New Zealand. I've seen quite a few now. I've spoken to quite a few now, and they've shared with me their incredible and marvelous journey. So for some, this was just a stepping stone, and now they are transitioning into those spaces where they've always wanted, always longed to live in. Obviously, the third stream that I want to talk about is the labor agreement scheme. So with this scheme, there is actually an agreement between the Australian government and an Australian company or an Australian sponsor. So with that agreement, then you come in. So it's a 3-part contract. So that employer has got an agreement to say we're going to bring in skilled workers, and the agreement involves the Australian government. So obviously this just shows you how serious the government is when it comes to migration, when it comes to them attracting foreign personnel, to the extent that they're actually partnering with organizations within Australia. So guys, you cannot miss this. You cannot miss this for anything. If you're thinking relocation, then you definitely have to position yourself in such a way that you get on this, you get yourself relocating to Australia. You just have to do what you need to do. And guys, stay tuned, because I'm going to also talk about the eligibility criteria, the requirements, and all the things that you need to do for you to be able to relocate to Australia on this visa, the subclass 482, the skills in demand visa. So I'm going to share with you the eligibility criteria. What is it that you need for you to be able to be eligible for this visa in particular? Obviously, you need to be somebody who is a professional in an occupation that's on a skilled occupational shortage list. That's a basic requirement. It's not all professions that are covered by this visa. And guys, like I promised you in our introductory video, if you haven't watched it, please go and watch it, where we spoke about 5 countries that we want to focus on in this series, where we are exploring other opportunities outside the UK. Obviously, we're also going to talk a little bit about the UK, because it's my favorite, guys, because I live here. I get to spend so much of my time obviously researching and hearing stories about other success relocation opportunities in this country. So obviously, the second thing that you need a job offer from an Australian employer, and your Australian employer has to be a sponsored employer. They have to be an approved sponsor, approved by the Australian government, for them to be able to issue you an equivalent of a certificate of sponsorship, for them to be able to lodge a nomination for you. Obviously, you need to have at least 2 years experience in that relevant occupation. Definitely. The Australian immigration system is quite big on proof of experience, proof of competence, proof of where you've been working previously in the same occupation. I've had the privilege to talk to a lot of people who actually migrated using the same path. They've had to submit from pay slips to letters from their current employers, and a lot of other things that they have had to actually do to prove. And obviously, I've had a privilege to speak to tradespeople. They've had to show, to an extent of them sitting for examinations with assessment boards, where your skills have to be assessed before you can actually be issued a visa. So that's the extent to which they go. So they're quite serious, they are quite robust about you showing your relevant experience and competences before they actually engage you. Obviously, the third thing that they're big on is your language test requirements, and I'm going to share with you 3 or 4 of the approved language tests that they actually require for you to take. So you can either take your IELTS, you can take your PTE, you can take your OET, you can take your TOEFL. They all consider all these language test if you want to relocate to Australia. Obviously, guys, it's important that you pass with a high mark, obviously, to increase your chances of being successful when you get nominated, or your chances of success when you actually lodge your application for some of these jobs. Because I mean, slowly demand is getting higher, especially for people relocating to Australia. Before it used to be so difficult, and I attribute that to lack of information. No wonder why I've said to myself, I'm going to share as much as I know. I'm going to do a lot of research on the Australian migration system, on the Australian relocation pathways, not because I'm an expert, but I've realized like people are missing out on opportunities because they've just been told, oh, it's impossible, or the system just requires a lot of things, and then as such people just are put off by that. So that's why I'm sharing. And guys, like I said, I'm no expert, so other things you also have to go and do your due diligence. Go and this is not to replace expert advice. Always engage an expert, and you get even more value, and you actually increase your chances of being successful. The other requirements for Australia are the health and character requirements. For health and character requirements, obviously, is your TB test, is your HIV test, and things like that. So you have to go through these through their approved medical examiners. So you will be guided when you go through your application to say, okay, you go to this examining body, and they do all of that. So for your character application, so it's just your regular police clearance. Obviously, some of you are already asking, how much is this visa? This visa costs 3,115 Australian dollars. This is at the time when I shot this video. So the fees could change, but you also have to refer to the Australian government website. I'll share the link in the description of this box. So make maximum use of that. And also for other information about health and character references and things like that, that character tests and things like that, that you may have questions on, I'll put the links in the description of this video. So do make maximum use of it, please. Obviously, some of the things as well that are covered for eligibility is the fact that when you have to apply for these jobs like anybody else, guys, it's important that you make maximum use of the job search agents. Obviously, some of you are not familiar with job search engines for Australia, but they mostly use Seek, they use Indeed, they use LinkedIn as well. So you have to make sure you make good use of those profiles so that you get your Australian job. Obviously, after you've done all of this, you have to definitely submit your visa application. They use an online system which is called the EMI account, and everything is uploaded there online. So you don't have to give anybody your documents or to give anybody money. You just do everything online, unless you're using a registered immigration agent, somebody that you trust. Because I'm big on these things because a lot of people are getting scammed. So I don't want you to fall victim unless you trust them, unless you know them very well and you trust them to do the application for you. But I've come across other people who have actually gone through this on their own. So like I always emphasize on all of my platforms is to say, do your due diligence. Knowledge is power. Find out as much as you can about a pathway, as much as you can about the country that you're actually relocating to. I've shared in one of my videos why I wasn't as successful in 4 different countries that I tried to go to before I came to the UK. Part and parcel of why I wasn't as successful was the fact that I didn't have much information about the pathways, much information of what my options were. Part and parcel of what I was using when I was doing my applications were just what people tell me, random hearsay, random information from friends and colleagues. And I never took the time to really do my own research, find out as much as I can about a pathway or about a country and what my options were. And guys, I just want to encourage you to say, do maximum research on a pathway, maximum research on a country that you want to relocate to, maximum research on where you fit in terms of your qualifications, your experience, and your expertise, your competences. And you'll be shocked, guys, at how many opportunities are at your disposal. So I also encourage you to say, this is just a guide. This is just an eye-opener to say there's a visa that's open that you can actually explore. So the burden is on you. It's entirely on you to say, okay, I'm going to dig deeper. I'm going to find out as much as I can about this pathway and see where it takes me. It could take you to, a better future. Who knows? So obviously a lot of you are already questioning to say, so where do I fit in? So what sort of professions does it cover? Guys, it covers a lot, from IT personnel to medical and healthcare personnel. One of the visas that I'm so happy about is the aged care worker route. If you're an aged care professional like myself, obviously check this one out and check where you fit in, what sort of qualifications you need for you to be able to be eligible for this one. Obviously, it also covers from construction workers, engineering workers, civil, electrical, tradespeople are covered in this. The mining industry is covered in this. Also, what's covered in this is the agriculture sector, guys. It covers a lot of jobs and professions. All you need to do is to just check where you fit in. I've just given you a few examples, and this is not exhaustive. So there are options for you guys. You just have to check to see where you fit in. Obviously, some of you would be asking, so how long does it take? I've gathered all these things. How long does it take for me to then have my visa? Guys, relocation is a patience journey. I've come across people that have actually taken longer, others taken less. So actually, I would say give it a month to 3 months after application to when you can expect to get your visa, guys. So it's just variable depending on what you submit, what your circumstances are. There's a lot that is involved. So obviously, in terms of what you get out of it, it's not a one size fits all. Obviously, I've mentioned engineering, construction, the hospitality and tourism industry. If you're a chef, if you're a hotel manager, etc., if you're in hospitality industry, Australia is one country that you need to be on the lookout for. Obviously, guys, I've got a tip for you. If you are targeting to get a visa, apply in regional areas, more or less rural areas. I've also said this about the UK. If you're looking for sponsorship, you could be in this country and you're looking for sponsorship. Always don't target the big cities, the big places. Target the rural, marginalized areas. Obviously, governments are actually promoting services there. They are promoting people moving and relocating there. Actually, you could actually increase your chances of even getting PR in a shortened time when you focus on those areas also. So guys, if you are targeting then a PR route, suppose you're young professional and you're targeting PR, definitely you have to be very particular about which visa route you're picking. So you got to pick the subclass 186, and I'm going to talk about this in detail so that at least you know what to apply for. Because I mean, if you choose a wrong route, then definitely you're doomed, because once you're issued with that visa, you're stuck with it for the longest, and it could end up with you having to pay more, through immigration agents to actually correct that and redirect your pathway to permanent residence in detail so that at least you know what to apply for. Because if you choose a wrong route, then definitely you're doomed, because once you're issued with that visa, you're stuck with it for the longest, and it could end up with you having to pay more, through immigration agents to actually correct that and redirect your pathway to permanent residence. So obviously, because Australia is an English-speaking country, definitely getting a higher band score for your English test actually can increase your chances of really success when you are either applying for the job initially, whether you're looking into getting nominated by your prospective Australian employer. Then definitely get a higher band score. I know the minimum is about 5. Right, but get 7, get 8 in the region. Practice, put in your all into your English test, and you could increase your chances of actually getting that job offer, that nomination, and obviously your visa. The other thing that I want to encourage people is to try by all means where you can to get maybe an Australian qualification. If you've got that, it's a plus, it's a bonus. So you have to look for institutions that do offer them, either offer them online or offer them in person. Just at least lend yourself, and an Australian accredited qualification could increase your chances of really getting hired and getting sponsored, and as a result getting your visa and everything else Australian. The other thing that I want to encourage people to do is to network. Guys, I cannot overemphasize the importance of networking when for us as professionals, for us as people looking into relocating. Who determines, a greater chunk of your success and a greater chance of what you get. So you could be networking with recruiters, networking with industry experts, other professionals. You could be networking also with recruitment agents. It's very, very important that you do that. I've actually come across somebody who actually was referred to an organization that was recruiting through a friend. So there are other companies that actually follow the referral process, whereby they ask the colleagues that they ask other employers to say, do you know of anybody who has got a similar qualification or has got these qualifications and would love to relocate to this country? So it's important that you get in touch, keep in touch with those people that you went to school with, those people that went to college with, those colleagues that you worked with. It's very, very important for relocation, and obviously not just for you getting the job, but also for support throughout the process, and also for settling in when you go across. It's very, very important. Guys, last but not least, I cannot do a video about Australia and not talk about the fact that where you apply does matter. So applying in these regional regional areas. Look for jobs that are in the rural areas of Australia. Guys, they're so desperate for people. They're looking for people. They're looking for professionals. They cannot wait for you to jump on this bandwagon and have you in their workforce. So guys, there are opportunities. All that we have to do is get all the information that we need to get started, guys. I'll leave you with this to say, something can only be difficult before you start it, but once you start it, you figure out the rest of it. I know, and relocation is not about figuring out everything at once or everything before you start, but it's all about just starting. Take the first step. Probably register for that assessment, or book for that English test, register for that English test, apply for that passport, and begin your journey. Guys, you can only be as successful when you start. Otherwise, procrastination is the thief of time. So let's get started. And guys, do stay tuned. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and do stay tuned on this channel, because we're going to be unpacking all the visa options for the 5 countries that we mentioned in our introductory video. So we're going to be exploring all the visa routes that they have, all the options that they have, all the industries in which they're looking into recruiting. And guys, like I said, I'm not an immigration agent, but I just love to share information as and when I hear it, and share it with you, so that at least you know where to start, at least you know what your options are. So guys, I'll see you in our next video, and it's bye for now, and all the best to those that are already starting already on this journey. I'll see you in our next video. Bye.